Osage Casino Hotel.
The Thunder have taken the NBA by storm. For the first time, the NBA champion resides in Oklahoma City. The storybook season is complete.
A historic night in the state of Oklahoma. The OKC Thunder are the 2025 NBA champions. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. It is a wild scene at the Paycom Center. We are just moving past the celebration phase, the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Hoisted into the air here at the Paycom Center. Fans going absolutely bananas. People still throwing confetti in the air. It is a wild scene here. We have coverage all over the state of Oklahoma, around OKC, around Tulsa. It is going to be a celebration throughout the night into the early morning hours of Monday. And don't forget, we have a championship parade beginning at 10:30 on Tuesday morning. But this was an ugly game for a while.
Yeah.
The Thunder ultimately took over down the stretch, didn't leave much in terms of the drama department in the fourth quarter, but they were really able to take care of things. It never got close, and you just felt that championship energy building down the stretch, and here we are in the middle of a wild scene where Oklahoma City is celebrating a world championship.
The party has only just begun, I think, in Oklahoma City and across the entire state of Oklahoma. An unbelievable performance when they had to have it from their MVP. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the difference. You know, the first half was a little kind of clunky, like you said, in a lot of ways, kind of ugly basketball, frankly. Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren took a little time to get it going, but they found in the second half, SGA met them, and the single greatest accomplishment, I think, in the history of Oklahoma sports today to win this title. You know, OU football is probably always going to be king in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
but for the Thunder, little old Oklahoma City, to win an NBA title, it's hard to fully fathom it, you know, in the moment, the magnitude of it. Just an unbelievable night here in this state, and one that I think, you know, certainly us too, and everyone's going to remember for a really long time.
I mean, look, the NBA is a global sport, right, or a global league. 214 countries were broadcasting this. I mean, members from, I feel like half of those countries were at these NBA finals at the Paycom Center, and the eyes of the world were on OKC, and they were able to get it done in a game where I think there were a lot of mixed emotions coming into this, especially after Game 6 at Indiana, and they faced adversity once again. They kept the trend of not losing 2 games in a row, and responded in a big way, and at the end of the day, they are NBA champions. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the NBA Finals MVP, and as the clock hit 0 and the confetti fell and the music was playing and fans started trying to rush onto the floor, some of them successfully making it, this thing getting roped off and the celebration beginning, just to see the look on the face of Clay Bennett, the look on the face of Sam Presti, Mark Dagnall, it was pretty incredible.
Oh, I mean, just what a moment, you know, Sam Presti, like you said, Clay Bennett. I mean, there were people openly weeping in here. I mean, it's hard to, you know, again, pull it fully into context what it means to the city and the state of Oklahoma to kind of get over this hump. And, you know, this franchise has been really competitive and played at the highest level really since its inception. But there's been a lot of heartbreak, right? A lot of really tough moments in this building, even a lot of tough moments. And to get over that hump, you know, tonight, they had the lead. Indiana, all the credit in the world. The Pacers, just the definition of would not die. And that continued tonight. Even with the injury of Tyrese Halliburton real early, they still responded and managed to kind of get back in it late. It got a little tight in here late in that fourth quarter, but Oklahoma City found a way to respond in the late moments. And once this place kind of finally let itself relax and start to see, like, oh, man, they're going to do it, it was an awesome atmosphere in here all night. But once they kind of flipped that switch the final couple minutes, it was just the party was on at that point. An unbelievable atmosphere, and again, something I think we're all going to remember for a long time.
Most of the players' families are still celebrating behind us, players on the floor, friends and family. I know a lot of the fans have really started to file out, and they're going to whatever, you know, celebration.
I'm sure they're in the streets right now.
In the streets, in the park, maybe climbing buildings, who knows. But OKC is going to be an absolutely wild atmosphere tonight. We just had Isaiah Hartenstein next to us. He was holding his son throughout most of the celebration.
Who was asleep somehow.
Yeah, who was somehow asleep as the crowd is just going absolutely crazy. But, I mean, it's a historic night and one of those that, you know, you'll always remember where you were. I think even for people that weren't here tonight, you'll remember where you were when the Thunder won a world championship. And it's crazy to think that, you know, this organization hasn't been around for 50 years, hasn't been around for 60 years. They got to OKC 2008.
Yeah,
and
right.
they are now world champions. And I know there's a lot of talk about dynasty and how young this team is. And,
sure.
I don't think you really have to lean too much into that. It's about now, the moment. And, you never know what might happen, but to get this one is just absolutely iconic.
No, and we talked about it before. You can't take it for granted. It's not a given that they're going to be back here. So to take advantage and get this done is a big deal. Jalen Williams at the podium. Let's go to him at postgame.
I think in a couple days I'll be able to come back down to earth a little bit. But right now I'm just trying to enjoy the moment. God's been extremely good to me. So I've definitely felt that. Coming off the court, just a lot of trials and tribulations just throughout my career, a lot of things that I don't speak on. He's been very good to me, so that was the one thing I reflected on so far. And then I had alcohol, so pushing through that.
On the right.
Myron Patton, OKC Sports Radio. You guys have had some big third quarters before, but Halliburton hit that three right at the end of the first half. What was said at halftime, considering it was an NBA final?
Oh, Nembhard hit the three.
Was it Nembhard? Okay,
yeah.
Nembhard hit the three, yeah. But, no, what was the conversation at halftime for you guys to come out and force 7 turnovers, 18 points off of that, and really take control of the game?
First, I want to say I hope Tyrese is okay. I haven't, looked at my phone or anything to, see what the thing is. Obviously, that changes the outcome of the game a little bit, or just changes, the dynamic of the game. So going into halftime, a lot of it was, not letting up because he's not playing. And then, two, just don't panic. When you're that close to a goal, you got to understand, the other team is feeling the same way we are. And I think that gave us a lot of confidence to go out there and just play through, being nervous. And, damn, I lost my train of thought. In halftime, obviously Halliburton not being there, just trying to, keep doing the things that were, getting us there all season. So playing hard defensively, trying to get stops, taking it one possession at a time. And then just as the game started to wind down a little bit, it's easy to take your foot off the gas and not pay attention. So we did a good job of, course correcting the first half. And I thought our defense was actually pretty good the first half, too. So just trying to, maintain our energy throughout the whole game.
Jenny over here.
Jalen, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Talk me through those last few moments on the court for you. You went down to the far end by yourself. What was sort of going through your mind? And then to walk off, you and Mark had a long hug, I assume, you spoke very passionately about his role for you yesterday. Just kind of talk me through that whole sequence for you.
It's a blur. Like I said earlier, I was just very, very blessed to be in this situation. So a lot of that emotion definitely hit me a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I don't really speak on, like everybody in the room. So it's just a lot of the emotions from that kind of hit me to be able to push through. And coming from not being known in college to 4 years later being an NBA champion and having an impact on a championship team is God's gift for sure. So it's been really cool to get that. So that was a rush of emotion. And then I looked up, I messed up and looked up, and my mom was crying in the stands, and then that made me start tearing up a little bit. So that too kind of was some of the rush of the emotion.
Fred over here, second row.
Jalen, you keep looking at that trophy in the middle of all your answers. When it was first handed to you, what is that moment of literally holding that trophy that you've heard about your whole life for the first time?
Well, it's heavy.
Heavier than expected?
Honestly, the other one I think is actually heavier than this one, I think. So that was cool. It doesn't feel real. Everything, the last minute and a half of the game didn't feel like I was there anymore. It kind of just felt like I left my body a little bit and just watched myself get it and do that whole thing. It still doesn't feel real. And I'm just kind of starting to try and think back to the beginning of the season, and it just feels like a complete blur up until this point. But just looking at it right now is it's very weird. It's a little humbling, I think. Just have a lot of emotions with it. It does not feel real at all.
Second row on the right.
Justin Martinez, the Oklahoman. You've always been someone who's prioritized team success. Before tonight, you're one of the few guys on the team who didn't have a championship of some sort at some level. Just sorry to throw that out there, but what does that mean to you now to have something like this after all the individual sacrifices to add to your trophy case?
It's a good first one. Yeah, like I said, it's just coming into the NBA, I really wanted to win. Oh, okay. What's up?
Isaiah Hartenstein from iHeartMedia. How does it feel to win your first championship?
Actually, you know what's crazy? He low-key asked me the same question.
Well, I'm asking you again. I didn't get on record.
Okay, well, I'll answer for both of you. Yeah, like you said, like being close a couple times in high school, and then in college we were never close. I thought that was pretty cool. My fault. Like I said, it's surreal. It's a blessing. It's great to be able to win it with idiots like Hart. It's cool. But yeah, it's just a lot of like sacrifices. Everybody makes sacrifices on the team, so mine aren't like super special, but it's just dope to be able to do it more so with like this group that I consider family. And just like I've been super fortunate to like be around them. And like the way we hit it off my first year as a group is just special, and to like maintain that through 3 years to win with them is something I couldn't have dreamed of, something I didn't think would happen when I first got into the NBA. So it's been really cool.
Thank you.
All right, that was Jalen Williams from the press conference podium. I love that he said to win it with an idiot like Hart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one of those things you joke with your buddies, right? Like, It just shows the closeness of this team. And I think I can say this about both teams that participated in the finals. Both of these teams had great team chemistry. Both of these teams were groups of guys that really, truly liked each other and got along, and I think that's why we saw such good team basketball in this series, and ultimately Oklahoma City gets it done. Just an incredible night here in Oklahoma City as the Thunder are world champions. Let's check in with our own Christina Santiago, who was at the Thunder One Oak Field watch party. Christina, what's going on there?
Colby and Josh, I am with one of the most diehard loyal Thunder fans. They have been waiting. Guys, you don't understand. They have been waiting since the ceremony to talk to you guys and share what this means to not just the city of Tulsa, but the state of Oklahoma. Guys, what does this moment mean to you all?
It means a lot, especially considering where we came from in 2012. I mean, we've got good people here. We got good family. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to SGA, Chet. We brought it home. Let's go, OKC.
We've been waiting for this moment so long. It's just about time. We need this. We needed this bad. We're champions!
Anything else that you guys want to share to our viewers, or also to the Oklahoma City Thunder team? What do you guys have to say to them?
This is just the beginning.
Kobe and Josh, they said it best. This is the beginning. History was made tonight, and we all experience it. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Christina. What a crowd.
That's awesome.
And I can't wait to just hear from all the different watch parties around Oklahoma and the excitement. You know, this is what sports is about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's about that diehard fandom, about participating in every watch party and watching every game and enjoying your it's a crazy scene down here.
You almost had a light.
We almost had
that
lights.
was a heck of a save with the
thank
foot,
you,
by
thank
the way.
you. I was once an athlete, not anymore, but that's about all I got. But yeah, I mean, like ultimate fandom to finally experience your team winning a championship and that pure joy. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. All right, we got to take a timeout. Thunder are world champions. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels from the Paycom Center. We'll be back with more championship coverage next here on the End Zone.
Players and a bunch of different teams. Shea's had so many moments late in games where he just seems totally unfazed by the moment. What's your perspective of his composure? Where does that come from? How's that trickle down to the rest of the team?
I think he has a unique mindset. I think he gives us a lot of confidence, just how, I mean, like we say all season, he's always 0 on 0. I don't think he ever gets too high, he gets too low. A great leader on and off the court. But then he also puts the work in. I mean, if you see him on a daily basis, the work he puts in on and off the court, the way he leads. I mean, yeah, like you said, I've been with a lot of players, I've been with a lot of superstars, but just how egoless he is really makes him special. And, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought it when I played with him in the Nike Hoop Summit that he would be now MVP, Finals MVP. And so, again, you have to respect his work ethic for sure.
Tanya?
On the orange, she's been raising her hand the whole time. Yeah, Sean. She asked, how you doing?
How are you feeling? I'm Valencia. How are you feeling?
Good. And it happened years ago.
Oh, too much? Okay. Okay, we'll do the post interview.
Good job.
Great job, Sean. Isaiah, thank you for your time and congratulations again. I really just want to know, since you brought out Sean with you, when times get hard and he's out there trying to accomplish his goals, what advice will you give him about reaching it to the top?
I think just staying in the present moment. I think that's the biggest thing. I think I've been through so many ups and downs in my career. I think when you get too far ahead or too far back in life, that's kind of when your emotions get too much. And so I think just staying present, working as hard as you can, and just knowing that there's going to be times where everything doesn't work out, but I think everything happens for a reason. I don't think I would change my career for anything, and I think that helped me in moments like these, for sure. No problem.
Tanya here.
Isaiah, Tanya Gunguli, New York Times. What was the celebration like when you guys got to the locker room? Because when we got there, there weren't bottles being popped like you normally see. Do we miss that? And how much?
I mean, first of all, none of us knew how to do it, so it was more like like YouTube tutorials, and so we were just asking AC how to do it, and so it was a kind of not really in sync because no one knew how to do it, but yeah, shout out to AC for kind of teaching us how to pop champagne, I guess.
Tim, last one, back right.
Tim Reynolds, AP, all the way in the middle. Isaiah. What's up, bro? You seriously didn't know how to open a champagne bottle?
No. I mean, when I won in Lithuania, they just drank hard tequila, so there was no just hard liquor straight. So yeah, we had to learn from AC. And here's my other son. This, my big son right here. But yeah, he did a great job giving us a tutorial. And so yeah, we're grateful for him. And so,
I had a real non-alcoholic question as well. You guys, you won 84 games.
Yeah.
Only 2 teams have won more than that. You guys scored more points in a season than any team in NBA history.
Yeah.
And you're the youngest champion in half a century. How real is it to think that this could just be the start of something really, really good for you guys?
I mean, that's a hard question. I think, again, yeah, well, we're going to go have some fun, but I think we have a good chance. But, again, you always have to prove it again. I mean, if we get, let's say the next season starts, training camp, everything's 0-0. It doesn't matter what you did the year before. But I think we have a good group of guys. But first, we're going to focus on having a little fun and going from there. Everyone, Chet Holmgren, enjoy. Let's go.
Thank you.
He is making his way into the press conference podium.
Yeah.
He's on his way. He's obviously in the room. He just hasn't sat down yet. Maybe he's getting word of all the people jumping into the river in Bricktown. But here's Chet Holmgren from the press conference podium.
Back row towards the middle on the right. First question on that 6th row on the right.
Caligo, the Athletic. Chet, it seems like this team gets super aggressive defensively when it's you or Isaiah and then 4 guards. Why do you think that formula has been so successful all season long?
I'd say it's all about trade-offs. As many compliments as I have for myself and Hart, we don't move our feet quite like some of these guards. The guards that we have are special on defense with their ability to climb up in the ball, play the passing lanes, really, cover distance, cover ground quickly. So when you have an extra person out there doing that, we're able to kind of really turn up the heat. I'd say, yeah, and it's all about trade-offs. You're a little little less adept on the glass when you're small, a little less rim protection out there. But you know, the trade-off is you can play the passing lanes, you can climb up and pressure people more. So we saw it tonight. We saw how special our guys are on defense, and I'm just so happy we were able to win.
Jenny, second row.
Hey, Chet. Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Before the final buzzer, I saw you go over and hug Clay. Talk to me about his role in all of this, but also Mark's role. He so much gives you guys all the credit, but curious if you just talk about his fingerprints on this championship.
I would say three of the biggest people in all this is Mark, Clay, and Sam. You know, I'm not out there on the floor if those three don't believe in me. So, you know, as much as this was for myself, teammates, everybody else, it was for those three. You know, they believed in me from the moment that they drafted me. And, you know, I just really wanted to I don't even know the words. I really just wanted to, I guess, make them proud or validate their belief in me. And, you know, this isn't the end of the road. We have a long ways to go as a team, and everybody understands that. But, you know, this is a huge moment for everybody here, the city, the fans, Clay, Sam, Mark, all the players, the support staff. And I'm just so happy for everybody that we can kind of share this moment together.
Right here in the front.
Martin. All right, that was Chet Holmgren from the press conference podium, the world champion press conference podium, as it is quite the scene here. Just, I think the overall joy on the face of pretty much every human being inside the Paycom Center is incredible. Speaking of just uncontrollable joy,
yes.
Fans jumping into the river in Bricktown. What a scene it is around the OKC metro area right now, and obviously, as we heard earlier, in Tulsa as well. But jumping into the river, I don't know what is at the bottom of that river. I did hear the mayor, David Holt, say that they do clean it out once or twice a year, but
that seems a little.
I hope if you're jumping in the
believe
river,
in him
you
on
got
that?
shots of some kind, right?
Yeah, it's a little gross. I wouldn't do it, but hey, you win a championship. There are no such things as gross. You kind of just go for it. You do whatever. You enjoy it, bask in it, OKC. But
that's right.
You might want to take a shower.
That's
after.
right.
Yeah.
Celebrate the championship however you want, as long as it's not hurting other people.
Sure.
And look, I don't think anybody else is getting hurt by you jumping in the river, so pretty cool thing there. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll have more press conference podium and celebration around the state of Oklahoma coming up next on the End Zone. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the 2025 NBA champions. It took 7 games, but the crown is in OKC as they're able to win this thing in front of an incredible Paycom crowd, Josh, that was really electric from the time the doors opened all through the game. I know that at points in this game there were kind of lulls where neither team was playing well, but I thought the OKC crowd brought the energy. They certainly kept this team going in some of those lulls, and ultimately smiles on everybody's faces. Just awesome to be inside this arena tonight as OKC has clinched the championship.
Yeah, it was absolutely on fire in here. And give credit, there was a pretty good Indiana contingent that made the trip from Indianapolis. But yeah, it was absolutely rocking here. We said before the game, as good as it can get, it's probably what we're going to get, right? I mean, as good as a crowd as Thunder fans can create, and really any NBA crowd can create, was probably what we were going to get, and it was absolutely like that. It was absolutely rocking all night long. And in particular, I'll never forget in that fourth quarter when they kind of got a little bit of some cushion. It wasn't dumb by any means, but they could start to taste it a little bit. That timeout, it was absolutely just a scene in here, man. It was something that I think everyone's going to remember for a long time. It was an all-time crowd, which we kind of both thought it would be going in.
Yeah, there were definitely moments where I thought this is the loudest I've ever heard the Paycom. A couple times were before the game, and then there were a couple sequences within the game. I think one was J-Dub hitting a 3 to go up 9 in the second half.
Is that the one that had the funny bounce?
Yeah. It was pretty incredible. But yeah, so many big moments I think tonight where the crowd just went absolutely crazy, and then pretty much from the final buzzer until I don't know, maybe 10 minutes ago, it's been pretty wild in here. Fans are starting to get out of here now and go find their celebration throughout
Fair where
the
they're going to go. It's a scene out there. I'm seeing the videos.
Looking at my Twitter timeline, I mean, all over the place, there are people just going nuts. And, I mean, still players roaming the court and friends and family and everybody just kind of soaking in the moment and, you know, kind of having a chance to exhale a little bit. All right, I believe we have Grant Palmer, who is somewhere in OKC, as one of the watch parties has been moved. And Grant, what are you experiencing in terms of just Thunder fandom now that the championship has been clinched?
Hey there, yeah, we are live at downtown Scissortail Park. We have a very large police presence going on right now. There were fireworks going off, but then we did hear gunshots, and we can confirm that one person, my apologies. We can confirm that one person was shot here in Scissortail Park. We are unaware of their condition right now or the identity of the person who was shot. But once again, a very large police presence just moments after the OKC Thunder's victory in the Game 7 NBA Finals. We still have a lot of people down here, tons of cop cars, sirens, you know, first responders trying to clear the way, clear the roads, get people to get out of the way. But once again, one person was shot here in Scissortail Park about an hour or so after the game, or a little bit less. And we are unaware of their condition right now, but we will continue to keep you updated as we learn more information. Reporting live, Grant Palmer, News Channel 8.
All right, thank you, Grant. You hate to hear that, especially on a night that everybody is experiencing joy of this magnitude, right? So it's unfortunate, and certainly our thoughts and prayers with whoever that victim is, and we hope their condition improves throughout the night. I believe we have another Thunder player at the podium as the celebration continues here at the Paycom Center.
Just like if you want to slip a screen or attack the paint, why do you think that works so well in the system with you and Mark?
Yeah, I think just through my career, I've figured out that I can do stuff that's not necessarily sexy or not necessarily like the mainstream, you know, offensive skill set or even defensive skill set that people recognize. And I kind of just leaned into it. I kind of practiced being great at the stuff that nobody else does and carving a role for myself in the league. And I think through the years, I've just kind of perfected that stuff.
Tim, all the way in the back.
Alex, Tim Reynolds with the AP. When Isaiah was in here, he revealed that there was some difficulty getting the corks out of the bottles and that you had to do some educating.
Yeah.
Is there any more of a better indicator of how young of a team this really is?
Yeah, and we didn't do it all at the same time until like the third try. I tried my best when we got in there. I was like, all right, let's get a head count. Like, let's make sure everyone's here before we do the first one. And through the learning experience of taking the foil off, undoing the metal, and having the cork ready, there's like 3 or 4 guys that popped their corks, and then it happened again, and we were like, all right, look at Flags Baby! Look at Flags Baby in the back! We went through the process a couple times, and eventually we got everybody on the same page. But yeah, it was a good first try. You know, we'll get some rest, reset, try to go again next year and see if we can do it again, and we'll be better. We'll be better next year.
A real question as well, if you don't mind. A championship is a championship, but there were 70 people in the gym when you won your first one.
Yeah.
How much better?
Probably like 150, but
maybe 100, maybe even 200. But
maybe.
How much better does this one feel?
Yeah, now I got a real one. Now nobody can say anything. Yeah, I think just because of the way the team is constructed now versus the team I had in 2020, like it was much harder with this team just because of the experience, right? And everybody talked about you need experience to win a championship and you need this, that, and the other. And I said multiple times through the postseason with this team that the good basketball is good basketball. Winning basketball is winning basketball. And the best team can win no matter what happens if you go out there and execute and do the stuff that you need to do to win the game. And I think through the playoffs, this team grew up and learned on the fly, which most teams have to learn through losses and learn through defeat. And I think this team learned through success. And it's a unique capability to be able to do that for, you know, 21 to 27-year-old kids. And for me, I've seen greats do it, so I knew the way, I knew the mindset. But to see these guys do it, man, it's really cool to see it in person, and I'm so happy for the guys just to be able to figure it out and to be able to get this done.
Howard on the left.
Howard Beck from The Ringer. Alex, you mentioned being part of one of these before with a veteran team. This is a much younger team, and you also have seen how hard it is to keep a team together and try to make a run. Is it, I know it's just still in the moment, but is it tempting to think about, given the youth and all the development that could still happen here, of how much more could be ahead of this team, how much more success?
Yeah, I mean, at this moment right now, I'm not thinking about much. I'm thinking about succeeding and winning and celebrating with my brothers. But, yeah, I mean, you're not guaranteed anything in the league. And I think that's the biggest thing that happens year to year that people forget about. You know, you have any moment your team can change with a trade, with an injury, with something that's out of your control. To be able to get to the pinnacle of this sport and win it is, you know, nothing short of extraordinary. And to think that you can just walk in and do it every single year is a little bit naive. But be, you know, rest assured, we'll show up day one next year ready to get better and ready to chase this again.
Again on the left.
Whenever you won in 20, LeBron was the leader of the team and arguably the leader of the NBA at that point. Just talking about Shea and his leadership of this team, can you just talk about, you know, his potential of being someone like a LeBron James that not only could be the leader of a team, a championship team, but eventually the leader of the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, comparing to LeBron is a crazy start just because LeBron was anointed at 18 years old and surpassed everything that has ever been put in front of him. But as far as, you know, like face of the league and best player on best team, he's got that capability. I mean, clearly the year he's had, MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, champion. I don't think anybody in here would question his ability. And I think the thing that sets him apart is he'll probably be hungry for more. You know, he probably won't be satisfied with just winning this one time. He'll want to do it again. He'll want to be better. He'll want to see how he can tweak and maneuver his game to better fit and take advantage of the way people guard him. And that's just a special ability that he has mentally to be competitive and want to be great.
Jenny?
Alex, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Mark might be one of the most even-keeled people on the planet.
Did he smile tonight when he came and talked to y'all?
We haven't seen him yet.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a report later.
Please do.
But very low-key. Did you see him crack at all? Emotions and all of this? Or did he maintain? And what does that sort of just say about his imprint on this team?
No, I mean, he's, you know, he won Coach of the Year, was it last year, I think? And arguably could have been again this year, but, you know, that's like a year in, year. They don't give that back-to-back to coaches. That's not a thing. Man, his ability to you know, collaborate with his assistants and then come together and have a clear, concise message for us is second to none. You know, he does a great job of pushing buttons when he needs to push buttons. He does a great job of figuring out solutions to problems. And then he does a great job of, like, holding people accountable, which is a huge thing in the NBA. Because, you know, we talked about Shea's year. He's MVP. He's Finals MVP, all that stuff. And he told him how he needed to play better after Game 6, and he was really sticky, and he needed to move the ball. And Shea had, 12, 13 assists, like probably a season high for him. And on top of doing all the stuff that he normally does. And I think that's one of the unique things that Mark brings to, you know, the coaching aspect is just his ability to not really care about quota, his you know, what the status quo is. He's going to coach how he knows to coach, and it's the same way that he coached me when I was on the G League 9 years ago, and that's probably the reason that he's had as success as he has, is he's been true to himself.
Barry, straight ahead.
Tulsa World, you guys played a pretty good defensive first half. You start the second half. Indiana goes 4.5 minutes without scoring. Seemed really out of sorts.
Start the third?
I mean, to start the third quarter, yeah. what did you guys do in that start that second half that really turned up the defensive pressure?
Yeah, I mean, the game just came down to winning coverages and then winning closeouts. I think in the beginning of the game, we did a really good job of closing out to their guys and taking away shots, but then also winning drives, and then got a little loose late first, early second. And then to start the third, you know, we kind of knew what it was. Like, we held them to 48, and Nimhard hit like a 30-foot step back at the half. So, like, you can't be too mad and too upset about defensive intensity and execution in the first half. We knew that it was probably going to be more offensive stuff that was going to open the game up for us. But even saying that, like, our defensive mindset and just execution, start of the third and then start of the fourth, like they were at 68 for a long time, start of the fourth, which gave us that separation, which we've talked about in this series, that they're going to make runs. They're a good team. They don't give up. They play with heart, and they made a run. But you know, we had to score at 20 instead of 10, and so then it wasn't a 1-2 point game. It was still a 10, 11, 12 point game, and I think that's really what gave us, you know, that window to win the game.
Last two questions in the center and on the right.
Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Alex, you mentioned a few games ago not to congratulate you earlier, so officially congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course. My question is, we talked to you a lot about your veteranship on this team, but I'm curious, as a veteran, what have you learned throughout this journey from the young guys, whether it's new music, new dance moves, even non-basketball related?
Yeah, no, I'm still pretty in tune with the music. They make TikToks, and I've abstained from that. I might get roped into one of those in the coming days just because of happenstance. But this group has like a, you know, I talked about it up on the stage after the game. They have a joy about them. They have a unique maturity that comes with, you know, a lack of experience that's rare. And I think just being able to show up and everybody accepts everybody for who they are and able to be themselves and really impact the game and impact the team with who they are naturally. It goes a long way, and I think it really helped us through the year and then obviously through the playoffs.
Last question, second.
All right, that was fan favorite Alex Caruso, who, by the way, was pumping up the crowd at every dead ball in the final minute, just throwing his hands in the air. Yeah. The crowd was going nuts. It was really awesome. He was sparking, I think, the excitement over the championship. Speaking of championship gear is now being consumed around the state of Oklahoma as I think a lot of fans, like, as soon as the game was over, got in their cars and drove to be among the first people to get their hands on the championship merch, which, by the way, the championship merch that the players are wearing, the hats and the shirts, A+.
I love the hats in particular. When they were up there on the stage, I was thinking these hats are really solid.
It's a cool look.
Good looking hat, yeah.
Yeah, and the shirt kind of is a throwback type of feel, so I absolutely love it. The Thunder are the NBA champions. We'll take another timeout. We're back in a moment here on the End Zone. The Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions. Josh, it feels surreal to say that. Even, you know, as the Paycom Center is starting to clear out, they got it done. It took 7 games, but tonight was an incredible night, do or die, and ultimately the Thunder are champions. Let's listen into Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault, who is at the press conference podium.
It's 3rd season, but just the versatility, all the boxes he checks, you know, he's good at everything. There's nothing he can't do on a basketball court, and the cumulative effect of that is he impacts every game and is a great player that is still growing and still improving, but I'm just so impressed by him and what he can do on the court.
Back left.
Mark, whenever you made those hockey line changes at the end, you had an embrace with Alex Caruso, and have you thought about your journey with Alex at all and kind of where you guys started in the G League and now being NBA champions?
Yeah, that was a time warp, that moment. You know, Dort, you know, he was out here guarding, 50 feet when it was COVID and there were no fans in the stands and we were winning 20 games. And Shea, NAC, Dub. I mean, just the history that we all have together and the work that we've put in together. We've hung in there together. We've stayed together, the whole team. But yeah, I can't describe it. It was a special moment for me.
Fred.
Mark, you guys had one of the quickest turnarounds in league history. You just mentioned, winning 20 games not that long ago. losing 60+, I think 2 consecutive seasons. What is it about the character of the organization, about the character of the team that allowed you guys to make such a leap so quickly in that time?
I've called the guys uncommon many times, but I really believe that. I mean, just the way they operate, the way they behave, the way they compete is uncommon in professional sports. It just is. And then I also think, the organization's been at it for a long time, and before this build, Mr. Bennett's been here from the jump. Sam's been here from the jump, and those 2 guys have built a first-class organization. The vision for that, and then the work that's gone into that, really put the wind at our back when it was time to start, from scratch, really. And so that was a huge thing. I mean, as young as the team was and as new as everything was, there was so many people, from Saint to Donnie Strack to Ayanna to Matt Tumbleson that were in place. Sam, obviously, his group, that the players were young, but the process and the systems and the environment were seasoned, and that gave us a huge lift. And you add the players we had to that, and that's how I think the speed happened. And good fortune. We got lucky in some ways.
Myron up front.
Myron Patton, OKC Sports Radio. You've had big third quarters before, but this is the finals. What was your conversation at halftime like? Because defensively, you guys really kind of came out really aggressive. They kept calling timeouts, but the avalanche was underway.
Yeah, I mean, you watch any Game 7 of the finals, any Game 7 period, but Game 7 of the finals, it's a different feeling. It's a different level of pressure. The gravity of the game is overwhelming for everybody participating, and I thought in the first half you could see that, I think, certainly with us, but with both teams. And the whole run, I've just tried to help the guys just be who they are. That's all we needed to do, is just be who we are. And I thought the tone at the beginning of the second half with the offensive rebounds, and it set a great tone. And then the offense started to come around. The defense sustained. And obviously that was a huge, huge run for us.
Tim in the back center.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. Mark, I'm going to take a risk and ask you about your least favorite topic, which is yourself. A lot of people have coached this game, and only 8% of them have won a championship. What will this mean to you? What will it mean as far as your journey and the fact that you probably proved a lot of people right and a lot of people wrong along the way? But what will this one mean?
I'm incredibly grateful. Grateful to Sam and Mr. Bennett for the opportunity. Grateful to the players, and I just feel such a sense of responsibility when you have a team like this. Everyone says, the team's hard to coach, and usually that has a negative connotation. But when you have a team that's this talented, this committed, this professional, this competitive, this willing to sacrifice, that's the ultimate pressure on a coach, because you want to serve that, and they deserve that. And that's what gives me the most pride right now, is that I feel like I was able to do that for them, because they deserved all of this. So that's really what I'm feeling right now.
Second row on the right.
Guilherme Sacco from ESPN Brazil. Coach, congratulations on the title.
Thank you.
I know that you didn't have the time to reflect about it, but you guys just went through one of the best final series ever, like in terms of basketball play. You are one of the brightest minds of basketball right now in the world. How did you see the whole series, like the level of basketball that you played, that Indiana played? How did you see the series going on?
I mean, I think it was great for the league and the product, for 2 small market teams that have never won a championship to have the type of series that we did. It was hard to appreciate that because it was just so hard in the moment. But one thing I learned is, you don't really. It's hard to get to your ceiling as a team in the playoffs when you're playing great teams over and over again. It's really about how high your floor is, and I thought was the mark of our team. I mean, you have to really grind it out, and it's an endurance race, and you have to be able to win in the mud. You have to be able to win ugly. You have to be able to gut it out, and that's what we did. The team did an unbelievable job of that.
Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
I'm going to circle back to a phrase I mentioned to you a few series ago. Be where your feet are. Both Shea and J-Dub said that. In 3 words, can you describe be where your feet are? How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the team did a great job of that. I mean, we lost a tough game in Game 6. You know, we went there to win. You know, like we really felt good about that game, and we did not perform well. And you're coming into Game 7, anything can happen. And you know, I thought the team did a great job of just staying present in the game, even when we're down 1 at halftime. The game was not easy for either team, and I just thought the guys did an unbelievable job of rooting into the moment, trying to win the next possession, just let the game unfold the way it does. And the guys have done a great job of that all year. They did a great job of it tonight.
Michael Martin, Let's Talk Thunder. Mark, over the course of your tenure, you've talked about being 0-0, give or take 1,000 times. I wanted to ask, after winning a championship, can you acknowledge that you're 1-0?
Yeah, I mean, those are you got to have those themes, you know, and this team responds well to those things. If you put the right thing in front of them, they really take to it. And you know, I think that's the right thing. It's the right way to approach competition. But these guys bring it to life, you know, with the way they play. I mean, you can talk about it all you want, but it comes down to how you perform. And these guys perform like competitive monsters.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Thunder head coach Mark Daignault as the OKC Thunder are world champions. They win the NBA Finals in 7 games. Still a celebration on the court. I think there's still a few players on the other side of the court that are still, you know, talking to family members. I know J-Dub and his brother Cody Williams, who plays for the Utah
Nobody's in
Jazz,
any rush,
are on
put
the
it
other
that
side of the court right now. You know, just kind of, I think, rehashing what went on in this series, and that the older brother is now an NBA champion, Josh. It's pretty crazy.
It is. It's awesome. It was really cool. Did you see also SGA with his son, obviously, and his wife? They were taking photos with both the Finals trophy and the MVP trophy. Just cool stuff. Cool scenes all around here right now.
Yeah, it is a fun night here on the floor at the Paycom Center as the OKC Thunder are the NBA champions. We'll take a time out. We still got to hear from SGA from the press conference podium and much more here on the End Zone.
Sponsored by Osage Casino Hotel.
Welcome back to this special edition of the End Zone. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. The Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions. It's been a historic run for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
He wins the regular season MVP award. He is now a world champion. He was also the NBA Finals MVP. I mean,
which hadn't happened in a while.
What didn't this guy do in the 2024-2025 season? Let's hear from the MVP at the press conference podium.
Tim?
It's a real short list of guys who've won MVP and Finals MVP in the same season. Yeah, the scoring title in there, that list gets even shorter. Now that you guys have crossed the finish line, are you able to wrap your head around that historic company that you've joined?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that I'm part of that group. It's hard to even fathom that I'm that type of basketball player sometimes. As a kid, you dream. And every kid dreams, but you don't ever really know if it's going to come true. And I'm just glad and happy that my dreams have been able to come true. And that's a thank you to everyone that's been in my corner that's helped me get here. I wouldn't be able to done without them. They know exactly who they are. So, yeah, it's a win for the family.
Ramona on the right.
Shay, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. You guys obviously faced some elimination games throughout this playoff run. There were moments when you admitted we sucked tonight, we didn't get it done. How did you guys push through those moments at such a young age here?
We prioritize winning. We don't prioritize anything else in this game. We want to win, and we want to win on the highest level. And that looks like something new every night, every opponent, every arena. And that's all we focused on this whole season, no matter if it was game 1, game 45, or game 105. We prioritized winning, and because we did so, we won on the highest level.
Fifth row in the back, towards center.
Jordan Davis with Oklahoma. Shai, obviously, you know, you had the moment with Halliburton after his injury. I mean, what can you just say about, you know, the competitor in that team and him as well? What did you say to him in that moment? And,
Yeah, I just asked him if he was all right, and it seemed like he was in pain. You just hate to see it in sports in general, but in this moment, like, my heart dropped for him. Like, I couldn't imagine
playing the biggest game of my life and something like that happening. It's so unfortunate. It's not fair. But competition isn't fair sometimes. But yeah, I just felt so bad for him. And just asked if he was okay. Obviously, he wasn't. But prayers go out to him for sure. Hell of a player. Future's bright. That team's going to be really good for a long time. Yeah, impressive team, impressive player. Wish him the best of luck.
Fred, over here, second row.
Shea, you had so many big moments throughout the series, 15 and 5 minutes in Game 4, and even the second half tonight just as a distributor. I'm curious where your late game composure comes from. I mean, was that something you felt like happened when you were younger? Is that something that happened as you got older? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's something that I definitely got as I've gotten older. Coaches worked with me on that a lot over the past three or 4 years, just as the group has continued to grow. Something that I still can be better at, but yeah, it's an emphasis of mine. Those are the minutes, those are the moments when the best players, the biggest stars, the superstars, the Hall of Fame players make their name. And I want to have that name. I want to have those titles attached to my name. So those moments, those minutes are very important to me, and I try to excel in them for sure.
Tim in the back center.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. Shea, you're only 20 minutes removed from winning it, so it's kind of crazy, but has the realization hit you yet that you guys might be here for a while, that you guys might be competing for a few of these things, just the way this thing is built and how young you guys are?
Yeah, like you said, I haven't even thought that far ahead. But yeah, we definitely still have room to grow, and that's the fun part of this. So many of us can still get better. There's not very many of us on the team that are quote-unquote in our prime or even close to it. So we have a lot of room to grow individually and as a group, and I'm excited for the future of this team. But this is a great start for sure. Couldn't imagine it any other way.
Barry, straight ahead.
Yeah, Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. Shea, you talked about the history that you personally made, but the team also had an historic season. Doesn't matter if you don't win tonight, all that history doesn't matter, but you did. How much pride or what stock you put in, not just the championship, but the way you guys played all season, and really, one of the great seasons in the history of the NBA?
Yeah, it was impressive. But I think the most impressive part is like the group that did it, our togetherness on and off the court, like how much fun we have. It made it so much easier, and it made it feel like we were just kids playing basketball. It was so fun. Like it's all the achievements and the accolades and things, like they don't even come close to like the satisfaction of like just winning with your brothers and people that you are so close to and want to succeed just as much as you want yourself to succeed. So that's been the most impressive and most fun part of it. Just to know that I have 15 brothers that I just experienced a once-in-a-lifetime experience with, and I'll never forget them. They'll never forget me.
Valencia.
Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Congratulations, Shea. You've mentioned how much fatherhood means to you. When your little one gets older and starts to accomplish their goals, what will you tell them about the sacrifices it takes to reach such a height?
Yeah, you're going to have to sacrifice. But ultimately, it's your choice. It's your life. If you want something, go get it. You can if you want it. And it's that simple. You might not always get the results you want, but all you can control is going after it and giving it your all and see where that takes you. That's all I did.
Over here.
Michael Martin, Let's Talk Thunder. Shea, you guys win the title. You get through some big 21 seasons that people, I think, overlook, some different injuries to yourself, Chet and others. What does it mean? How much sweeter does it make it to sort of get through all those things and be in for the long haul?
Yeah, it feels great. It just goes to show, like, when you prioritize the right things, when you have good intentions, good people around you, anything's possible. And throughout this whole process, Sam has done a really good job of just, like, being honest and upfront, not only myself, but the rest of the group. 3 years ago, like, he came into the room and said, I think this is just when Chet got hurt in the summertime. And he was like, all the noises that we're going to tank again because Chet because Chet got hurt. And he said, like, our destiny is what we make it, and no one else can control that. And that message, like, struck with me ever since that. Like, we can do whatever we want to do out there. Just like how we've all got to the NBA, no matter what anybody says, no matter who's hurt or who's not. And I think that talk is stuck in my head, and I think a few of the other guys as well. And it's a big part of why we're here.
Second row on the right.
Hi, Shea. Leandro Sarhan from ESPN Brazil. Congrats on the title, the Finals MVP. You had 12 assists today, your playoff career high. How much pride do you take in that and getting your teammates involved, and how important do you think that was for you guys to accomplish your goal?
Yeah, coming off of Game 6, I obviously had a lot more turnovers than assists. That's not a recipe for a win, and I wanted to do whatever it took tonight to get a win. So whether that was me playing in space or it was them not letting me play in space and some of my teammates open, just trying to make the right basketball play, do whatever it takes to win at the end of the night, and I got enough done.
All right, that was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, NBA Finals MVP, 29 points tonight, 12 assists. For a large portion of the game, really felt like the only consistent offensive option for OKC, and he caps an incredible, historic 2025
all-time
basketball season. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. The celebration continues as OKC wins the world title. We're back in a moment here at the Paycom Center on the End Zone. All right, along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels back at the Paycom Center as it's a world championship celebration in the state of Oklahoma, across the state, OKC, Tulsa, and certainly here around the arena, inside the arena. A lot of the fans at this point are gone, still friends and family on the court, still a few players giving hugs and handshakes and everybody just soaking it in. Josh, an incredible scene, and I think just a night of complete and utter joy across the board as OKC in a Game 7 wins a world title.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the Thunder as a franchise, Thunder fans are pretty spoiled overall, right? I mean, the franchise has largely won at a high level since they existed, but with that comes some pain, right? When you get close, you think of 2016, certainly, those old wounds. And
2012.
That summer, 2012, getting close, and then obviously the injuries that piled up. We talked about that before, where they can never seem to quite be healthy, and then, the Dame shot, years like that. And then they go into this rebuild, and you don't know how long it's going to take before they get to this level again. I think whenever they kind of reset and they traded Russell Westbrook, they traded Paul George, I think we all were kind of like, who knows, right? I mean, who knows how long it'll take them. Not only did it not take them that long, they've got their first championship just a few years removed from, obviously a 20-something win season.
Right.
So it's an unbelievable climb to this spot. It's an unbelievable job by Sam Presti, who's, I think, right in the mix for the best general manager in sports. I mean, to do what he's done here is unbelievable.
Can I say of all time? Can we
gotta
make
be
that
close.
distinction?
I mean, in the convo, I would think at the very least, it's just unbelievable. I mean, it's just the climb to this moment is just, it's really special.
Well, you think about how this team was built, and you go back to that Russell Westbrook, Paul George. Carmelo was here for a year, but then they moved on from him, and it went into full rebuild mode.
Yeah.
And look, I at the time, I actually said these words, but you might be entering a decade or more of NBA irrelevance.
Very possible.
That's NBA rebuilds don't happen overnight, and certainly don't happen as quickly as this one did. Now, I know there was a long couple years here where they were taking L's in historic fashion, right? They weren't competitive, and there were major blowouts where the Thunder are losing by 30 and 40, and I know that was a tough watch, but it's pretty incredible that you turned Paul George into the number of draft picks that you turned into, and the NBA's best player in 2025, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It takes a lot of luck, I think, in terms of...
You get some fortune with the Chet
the
lottery.
NBA lottery and all of that, like just landing the right pick, but you also have to hit on those picks. To hit on Chet, obviously, and J-Dub, who is an NBA All-Star this year. I mean, clearly one of the top, 20 to, 25 players probably in the league at this stage of his career, and he's only in year 3. It's a very bright future, and I get kind of annoyed with the number of people throughout this finals series that talk about, like, this team is going to have plenty of opportunities.
Yeah,
right?
You never
They're going to have plenty of opportunities to win titles. This might be the first of many. That's what everybody said about the 2012 group, and they never got back, right? You can't ever take it for granted that you have a team fully healthy and doesn't, run into the wrong type of obstacles at the wrong time to get to this point and even put themselves in position to win a championship, much less get it done, right? I mean, a lot of people felt like the Thunder were going to cruise through these NBA finals. They were favored in every game. They were favored to win the series by
heavily
a historic lopsided spread. And at the end of the day, it goes 7, and they were pushed tonight. And, you know, my heart breaks for Tyrese Halliburton, obviously.
Yeah.
Going down with the injury and you know, probably out for next year as well. I mean, that is a long injury to recover from. You hate that for him. You know, it also opened the door for T.J. McConnell to go T.J. McConnell. I mean, you can make the argument that T.J. McConnell was the best pacer in this entire series, or at least gave them the right stuff to keep them in some of these games. But, I mean, the Thunder were pushed to 7 games in a series that everybody just said they're going to walk through, right? And I don't think you can ever take these for granted. You never know when everybody's going to be healthy. You never know how, you know, contracts might ultimately, like, disrupt keeping a team together. You know, I very much, I think, throughout this finals, tried to stay away from, you know, something like this is the first of many, or like this is about this championship and capitalizing on this opportunity because it may never happen again, and they were able to do that.
1,000,000%. You just don't know, and you would think if anyone would know that, it would be Thunder fans.
That's
right. I mean, after what happened in 2012, that group never got back to that stage again, despite having Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant and obviously all the players they had around those guys, Serge Ibaka and whatever else. They never got back there, and you just think of all the right moves that Sam Presti has made to kind of bring it back to him. You know, you hit on, we talk about Jalen Williams, some fortune with Chet, he goes number 2, but Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, you make smart additions. Alex Caruso, they don't win this title without him. What a great trade that was.
Yeah.
Isaiah Hartenstein, a perfect signing that they needed after last year. It didn't have enough size, that loss to Dallas. They went and got Isaiah Hartenstein. He was a huge difference maker, obviously, in this entire season. But obviously, at the end of the day, it all comes back to Shea. And the fact that you flip Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and all those picks.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knew Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would be this good. Obviously, there was hope, right? I mean, he was the centerpiece of that trade. But the guy, you know, you asked me on the end zone after Game 4, is he the best Thunder player ever? I was a little hesitant. He's there now. He's there now. No question he's there now.
Otherwise, yeah.
And, like, they did that in a trade, in a rebuild trade. They went and just found ho-hum, you know, the greatest player in franchise history, Finals MVP, League MVP, led you to a championship. I mean, it's just unbelievable how many of the right moves. There was a couple misses along the way, but how many of the right moves that Oklahoma City made to get to this spot. It's just, it's incredible. It's an unbelievable job.
Spoiler alert, no GM in the history of any sport is 100%.
Sure, you're going to miss on some.
But Sam Presti not only has a really good percentage of hits, but he has big hits, right? I mean, he's not just hitting singles with a lot of these picks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hit home runs, and even with trade acquisitions and free agency, he's hit home runs. I don't think you can say enough about the job that Sam Presti has done. And look, it's twice, right? He built an incredible core the first time that never won a championship. And after Kevin Durant left and you got nothing for what was the best player in franchise history at that point, he turned it into what we have now. And, I mean, it's pretty incredible the job he did. Now, I wanted to talk about the draft picks, but then I wanted to transition into a couple names that you mentioned, Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, because this time 1 year ago, OKC loses to Dallas in the second round. They were the #1 seed in the West. They were great in the regular season. We saw some glaring deficiencies from them in the postseason. Clearly, 2 of those, J-Dub and Chet, matured this season and took giant steps in the right direction.
No doubt.
J-Dub specifically took giant steps in the right direction to become that, you know, that Robin to Shea's Batman, if you will. But, you know, you look at the team overall and some of the weaknesses, and you have this lottery pick invested in Josh Giddey, who was, you know, a starter, and I think some people viewed him as one of the best 5 players on this team, and it was clearly a point of weakness for them last postseason. To turn that into Alex Caruso, who the Thunder don't win this title without Caruso.
No doubt they don't.
I mean, to turn that into an all-world level defender, spark plug, just guy that comes into the locker room and everybody embraces out of the gate, has that championship pedigree for these guys to lean on a little bit. I mean, that's amazing on its own. And then the free agency acquisition of Isaiah Hartenstein, who, again, you mentioned it, they lost to Dallas because they didn't have size. He not only, I think, answered that bell with the size, but, I mean, there were times this season he ran the offense, and we saw it throughout this postseason run, how good at times he was in running the offense. And, I mean, he provided so much that this Thunder team needed. Those 2 guys collectively, I think, share a big portion of the pie in terms of, you know, responsible for winning this championship.
Phenomenal additions, both of them. They don't do it without either of them. Alex Caruso in particular, obviously Hartenstein too, don't get me wrong, but Alex Caruso, what he gave this team from like a leadership standpoint as well. I mean, obviously he's won a championship before. He's kind of done that. You know, they all make fun for being the old guy. He's like an extension of the coaching staff. Like, he has just been the perfect fit for what the Thunder needed. And it's just funny because you think of last year's team, you know, obviously the 1 seed last year, we all thought they were close last year. But this year's team is so much better than last year's team. I mean, you flip Josh Gay for Caruso, you add Hartenstein, and then obviously J-Dub and Chet take big steps forward, and Shea is better than he was last year. I mean, he continues to get better at a rapid rate every year. Just the fact that they took a good team that was the 1 seed, they lost the second round, it was disappointing, and they made it way better in one offseason somehow. Again, it's unbelievable. Sam Presti continues to do this year after year after year. He just makes the right moves and pushes the right buttons over and over again. And finally now he gets rewarded because this was the one thing missing. He never actually had a team get over the hump. Now he has.
I refuse to talk about next year and defending because the championship celebration is still going on right now behind us on the floor. Yeah. We've only begun the celebration. I would imagine around the state of Oklahoma, the celebration is going to go into the early morning hours of Monday, and we obviously have a championship parade beginning at 10:30 on Tuesday morning. Let's at least get through a parade and exit interviews, and then we can maybe start to
I'm sure the odds are out.
The odds are already out 100%. I got the email notification that betonline.ag has released the betting odds. I didn't look yet to see what the Thunder were, but they have been released 100%. This is so hard to do. It's so hard to accomplish, to go through 3 playoff rounds to just get this opportunity and then to win 4 games out of 7 against the best team from the Eastern Conference. It's so hard to do. Let's not skip past this accomplishment and start looking forward.
Especially in modern NBA. How many years in a row have we had a back-to-back?
What is it, 8 years in a row?
Yeah, I think that's right. I was going to say 7 or 8.
We've had a different champion. It's pretty incredible. So, all right, let's take a timeout. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. The Oklahoma City Thunder are your 2025 NBA champions. They did it. They took Game 7, and the OKC Thunder are NBA Finals champions. And it's going to be a really fun offseason, I think, for this Thunder team and for the people of Oklahoma. It was a pretty wild game. I mean, I think the biggest question was what type of urgency would OKC show up with after it was completely lacking in the Game 6 loss?
Yeah, I thought they came out pretty good. I honestly kind of thought the Tyrese Halliburton injury kind of threw the game into a bit of a funk.
It absolutely did, for both sides.
Yeah, for both sides. It was like Oklahoma City didn't know. Even the vibe in the arena was kind of weird for a little while. It was almost like, do we still cheer? Is it okay if we still get hyped up for this game? And it kind of was just ugly basketball, like you mentioned earlier in that second quarter. But, in the third, they got it going. That Lou Dort moonball 3, that was one of the moments when you kind of feel like, okay, they may have something cooking here. You mentioned the J-Dub kind of crazy roll to get up 9. And then from there, they kind of just got a big lead. Indiana made their move late.
We knew it was going to happen, right?
We knew it was going to happen. But they fended them off down the stretch. Oklahoma City played a really good second half. Even in the first half when the offense was ugly, they were still defending. They always were defending tonight. And if you defend at a high level like they were and they have all year, you're always going to give yourself a shot to give the offense time to find it. And that's kind of what happened tonight. Gave them time for the offense to find it.
To your point about defense, the only time in this game that I really even thought defense, was the stretch in the third quarter where it was the T.J. McConnell show, right? I mean, T.J. McConnell literally kept the Pacers in the game because the Thunder were scoring and T.J. McConnell would come to the other end and answer. I think there was a stretch of 5 of 7 possessions where T.J. McConnell scored for the Pacers. And, again, the Thunder were getting buckets on the other end, and T.J. McConnell was a one-man show for Indiana.
I legitimately think
nobody could stop him.
If Indiana won the title, he would have or should have won Finals MVP, which is
It would have been a crime if he had not been Finals MVP if Indiana wins. But obviously, again, the defense was so good. Outside of that stretch, I never had a moment where I thought the defense is not really playing well. It was really on the offensive end that most of the negative thoughts, or questionable thoughts about what this team was doing came to my mind. There was the second quarter overall, really from start to finish, I thought was just ugly basketball. The Thunder seemed out of rhythm. The Pacers seemed out of rhythm. Weird whistles. The pace of the game was sort of disrupted, and the game had no flow in the second quarter. And I thought the fans tried to elevate and tried to get loud and tried to, bring some energy and lift this place, but the level of basketball just it didn't leave a lot to be desired. And then, again, the third quarter was fantastic. Ton of big shots made by the Thunder. There was a point where the game is tied in the third quarter. The Thunder hit 3 threes in a row. Mm-hmm. The last one was that J-Dub 3 that bounces around and goes in, and
everyone held their breath.
Everybody held their breath, and then the place just goes nuts. And really, I thought from that point on, the Thunder had a pretty good stranglehold over the game. Again, we knew the Pacers were going to make a run. They absolutely did make a run. I thought maybe the Thunder got a little bit too greedy in the fourth, just trying to hit the kill shot instead of staying aggressive and really putting them away. But that's just little things. They ultimately took care of business and relied on the defense down the stretch to get it done.
Yeah, the fact it's funny is one of those things that it'll get lost in time. The fact they were trailing at halftime tonight.
Right.
And I think of what I think was pretty and arguably the biggest win in Thunder history before this year, Game 6 against the Spurs in 2012 to go to the finals. They were also trailing at halftime in that game, but nobody remembers that, right? Because at the end of the day, if you get the job done, nobody cares how you do it, right? And the first half was ugly in a lot of ways, but they found it in that third quarter, and in the fourth, obviously managed to push it out. And it, kind of poetic that after what happened in Game 1 against Denver and Game 1 of this series, to do the job, they had to find a way to hang on to a lead, and Indiana made that push. They made it, got it within 12, I think, last 3 or 4 minutes. But, they made smart basketball plays, made their free throws, and they found a way to salt it away.
That's right. The celebration behind us is wild, and you got to love, again, just the pure joy that everybody that has put blood, sweat, and tears into this thing are currently experiencing.
It's a long season.
It is a long
climb.
season. 82 regular season games. The regular season feels like 2 years ago.
Just the postseason.
The postseason. I mean, do you remember the Memphis series?
Eons ago, a lifetime ago.
Like it's a little faded in my mind. It's so long
Even the
ago.
Denver series.
The Denver series, that's right. But here we are. NBA champions, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a historic season, regular season MVP, world champion, and finals MVP. All the way around, it was a team effort, and I feel like every player that played in this series at some point had moments that helped the Thunder get here. Thunder are your 2025 NBA champions. They take Game 7 here at the Paycom Center. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. We'll wrap up with final thoughts here in OKC. The Thunder are the 2025 NBA champions. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels from the Paycom Center. I feel like the party, for some weird reason, is ramping up, right?
It got revved back up.
It kind of died down a little bit, and the place started to thin out. And I feel
People
like
everywhere.
the celebration is just getting supercharged right now behind us, as I think it's a lot of Thunder personnel right now that are, just enjoying.
Just got off. Just got done
how
working.
much hard work goes into this outside of the players that play on the court. I mean, organizationally, there's a lot of people that put work into this to make it happen.
The security people,
That's right.
the concessions. I mean, everyone
right.
is like, you can see it. The emotion was so high in here when it ticked off. It's just awesome. It's so cool.
All right, before we get final thoughts, let's check in with Grant Palmer, who's in downtown OKC with Thunder fans who are enjoying this championship and celebrating, I would imagine, into the morning hours. Grant.
Hey, guys, we're live. We're live. Hey, OKC, we up. OKC, we up. World champs, baby. World champs. OKC. OKC. We're on top of the world right now. We live, baby. OKC. 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 OKC.
All right, that is Grant Palmer. I love the fact that the fans are that excited, going absolutely crazy. That's how you celebrate a championship, right?
That's how it's done.
You climb light poles, you jump into the river, you just you lose your mind, right? You do things just out of pure joy and ecstasy. As your team wins a championship. That's what fandom is all about.
No, 100%, man. I mean, for this franchise, it's never had it before, right? And it's the only pro sports franchise we have in Oklahoma, right? So Oklahoma, Oklahomans are going to enjoy this, and they should. It's going to be, I think, a pretty fun summer around Oklahoma City this year.
It's going to be a fun couple days. We have the championship parade on Tuesday morning at 10:30. So go ahead and use whatever sick days or vacation days you have.
Get your sunscreen
to,
ready.
Get your sunscreen and all that good stuff. Stay hydrated. get ready to have a good time because it's going to be wild on Tuesday.
What percentage of the state of Oklahoma you think will be there?
Yes.
Like half?
Yes.
At least? It's going to be nuts.
Yes. I hope there's a representative from every town, city, middle of
Probably
nowhere
pretty close.
farm.
Yeah.
I want to see OKC packed for what is going to be an awesome parade at 10:30 Tuesday morning. But the championship celebration continues here at the Paycom Center. Josh, final thoughts?
What an awesome run. This was a historic team. Obviously, this was the goal. Really, the whole season, obviously, there was a thought this team could get over the hump and win a championship. And that was the mission the whole year. Going back to the play-in, the in-season tournament in Vegas, going back that far, which you talk about something that feels a lifetime ago. It's a historic team. They won 68 games. I think a team that'll be beloved forever. Obviously, the fact that you cap it off and win a championship. This was an incredible run. Like you said, they're set up to maybe get back here and do this again. And we'll have a lot of time to kind of talk about that. But enjoy this. I mean, it's not a given at all that you get back here. So to get to this spot and to do it at home, just an all-time moment. Like I said, I think right here, right at the top for greatest moments in Oklahoma sports history, really Oklahoma history, just the state. I mean, win an NBA title is really, really special. Just an awesome ride, and it was a blast to get to be here along with, obviously, you throughout this run. It was a lot of fun, and we'll remember it forever.
Yeah, 82 games in the regular season, which is a marathon on its own. And then I remember that long week off after the regular season ended. You have to go through the play-in tournament. You finally get the postseason underway. They sweep the Memphis Grizzlies.
Beat Memphis by 1,000,000.
Round 2 matchup that everybody took for granted against the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
And, if Shea is best player in the world, then Jokic is 1B, right?
Yeah.
And a 7-game slugfest in round 2 of the postseason where the Thunder on this floor win a Game 7 to go to the Western Conference Finals. 5 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves. On this floor, the Thunder punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. They get the Indiana Pacers, who were, along with the Thunder, the best team in the league from January 1st until now. And you get an absolute slugfest back-and-forth war in this final series. It goes the distance. Game 7, an iconic Game 7 here at the Paycom Center, and Oklahoma City is your NBA World Champions. What a run it's been. A special thanks to our team back in the studio, and I got to say thank you to Marlena Wilson, who's done a great job for us this entire postseason. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. The celebration continues. The Oklahoma City Thunder are your 2025 World Champions.